It is September 29th, and I am down on our Cass County farm doing a final card pull and doing a big walk to hopefully not find any dead deer. EHD's still been hitting pretty hard in this area, so I'm trying to walk a bunch of the farm and just make sure, confirm that we don't have any major outbreak here. As far as we know, and up to this point, we haven't, but it just keeps popping up randomly, and it's still dry and we still haven't had any frost. So we've been pretty nervous, needless to say, but hopefully I don't come up with any. We're planning on being down here the 4th through the 6th, so Friday night through Sunday morning. So I'm trying to do a card pull and kind of have a game plan for that weekend as well. Either way, whatever's on the cameras, I'm just hoping to not find any dead deer. As long as they're all still alive, we'll feel like we'll be in the game. I already checked one camera and our big buck LT was on it. The last day he was on it was the 25th or 26th, so he was at least alive a few days ago and was borderline daylight here on the fringe of our area. So that's a really good sign, and there was a lot of deer on that camera, a lot of does and little bucks as well. So I'm feeling decent about things, but let's go take a walk and make sure. So I checked 2 more cards so far, and we've had a good amount of does, fair amount in daylight, so that bodes well for this coming weekend. And we have had a handful of 2-year-olds as well, and a few of them in daylight. None of our big bucks yet, but that's kind of to be expected. These beans are really yellow, and I don't know if it's just the paddability of them or what, but we tend to not see a lot of deer once these beans are yellow on this farm. We've had a couple years where the beans were green and in that first week of October, and the hunting was really good, but it seems to be, everything seems to be early this year as far as crops are concerned, and these beans are pretty yellow, which I don't think the deer are feeding in here a ton. But with that being said, we've got a bunch of deer pictures, so that's a good sign. Makes me feel a little bit better. The bucks will show up eventually. I'm not too worried about that. And some of those 2-year-olds might be in trouble too if they step out in front of the camera on this coming weekend. But we're gonna keep walking, see what else we can find. That's a big buck. Well, we're doing our last card pull. I was just swiping through these pictures quick, and a new big buck showed up. I can't figure out if it's the G4 buck that we had pictures of in the beans in the summer or not. It's kind of hard to tell. He looks like he's got a sticker coming off, but he's a stud. That's if it is him, the first hardhorn pictures we've had, it was 2 days ago. At night, but that's very promising. That's a good buck. Well, I think that's gonna wrap up my walk on the farm here. Everything looks really good. Lots of trail camera pictures of deer. Did not smell or see any dead deer. I walked a lot of ground. downwind of a lot of swampy areas, a lot of standing water, a lot of exposed mud, and did not see any signs of EHD. So if it has in fact hit this farm, up to this point it hasn't had a widespread effect. Calms a lot of worries that we've had, but it's still dry and there's still not a lot of frost in the forecast. So we'll just have to wait and see, but as of now, all systems go for hunting this place. As far as the first week is concerned, I'm going to be hunting hard. I know Lance is going to be hunting hard, and then my dad's going to be hunting a little bit, and for sure hunting Friday, Saturday, Sunday. The weather looks pretty warm, but the mornings are going to be cool. And I know a lot of people don't like to hunt early season mornings, but I've actually tended to really enjoy hunting those. I've seen a lot of good movement when the coolest part of the day is right away at first light. You know, a couple years ago, the buck I shot October 1st, it was 45 degrees at daylight with a high of 75. And according to the cameras that year and what I saw, the best move of the whole entire day was the first hour of daylight. So definitely don't be afraid to key in on those early season mornings if you can get in there to a spot that makes sense. I know if you're hunting a big farm where you're managing the deer really heavily, if you have a big mature buck that you don't want to spook, it probably doesn't make sense to go in there. But for the majority of Michigan hunters, that's not the case. It makes sense to go try to take advantage of every opportunity you have, and if that means hunting an early season cold front in the morning, if that gives you the best chance to go shoot a buck, do it. I'm going to spend the first couple days of the season hunting one of the permission farms and my home farm pretty heavily. On that permission farm, I have a buck that's been hitting a mock scrape that I made pretty consistently. He was there daylight on the 24th. That's the last time I checked the camera. I'm not going to go in there again until the season starts, and I think I'm going to hunt it opening night. But I'm going to be hunting behind my house a little bit too. The cameras have been pretty slow there. There's been a few 2-year-olds that have made their way through at night, but nothing overly consistent. Pretty much just going to be hunting back there to scratch the itch, but you never know, something could wander on by that I want to shoot. And then come Friday afternoon, my dad and I are going to head down here to the farm. We're going to be hunting Friday night through Sunday morning. We're probably going to key in on that bean field and try to shoot a couple does. There hasn't been many shooters hitting that field, but there has been some daylight activity for does, and we're hoping to punch a couple tags there. This farm, there has been heavy crop damage over the last couple of years, and the farmer's goal is to have us as a group shoot 20 does. So we're going to try to get to work on that as quickly as we can, so we're not scrambling late season and trying to shoot a bunch of deer with our guns and risk shooting button bucks and shed bucks in late December. So we're going to try to take advantage of every opportunity we get and try to start knocking down some does early, and that's hopefully going to start this weekend. But obviously with those couple nice bucks on camera, we're going to be buck hunting, of course, as well. So with any luck, one of those might slip up and give us a shot this first weekend as well. That nice 10-point that Lance has been getting pictures of has been showing up consistently on his neighbor's camera in daylight, only about 200 yards away from one of Lance's stands. So if that buck continues his daylight pattern, all he's got to do is take a couple bounds over the property line, and he might be in trouble if he walks by Lance's tree stand. So be looking forward to that. His property sets up really well for early season, so if not that buck, I'm sure he'll be in some deer over the first week as well. We'll be following along with him and myself throughout the first couple days of the season, and then when my dad starts hunting as well this coming weekend, we'll be following him too. So between the three of us, hopefully we have some action. But either way, regardless of what we see, October 1st is tomorrow. Opening day is finally upon us. We've been waiting 9 months for these 3 months of the season. These 93 days are what we live for. So I'm excited. I'm excited to get in a tree, enjoy the nice weather, and scratch that itch a little bit, and with any luck, get an arrow in one or two. We'll give some updates of what we see on social media, Instagram, Facebook throughout the week, but we'll bring you all the action next week, Wednesday, for what will be the 4th episode of 93 Days. So get out there this week, good luck, shoot straight, aim small, miss small, and we'll see you right back here next week on 93 Days.